Welcome to the Cybersecurity Defenders Podcast, where we talk to the people who keep the internet safe. These industry experts share their innovative cyber defense technologies, vital insights into threats, and predictions for the future of cybersecurity. My name's Christopher Luft. I'm one of the co-founders of LimaCharlie, and I will be your host. This podcast is brought to you by LimaCharlie, maker of the SecOps Cloud platform. Infrastructure for SecOps where everything is built API first. Scale with confidence as your business grows. You can start today for free at limacharlie.io. Now let's get into it. My guest today is Peter Ruta, CEO of Arcanna AI. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today, Peter. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, Chris, for having me.
Yeah, to get started, I'm always interested in how people came to a career in technology and more specifically how that became a career in cybersecurity. How did things start for you?
Well, it started a long time ago. In 95, I took the transition from military to computer science, going to the computer science university. And while being there, internet happened. And while being student, I've been getting close to, DNS servers and IP addresses and working for the government into that space. And then the NATO came out of Romania because I'm Romanian. I've been born there. While, Romania entered into the NATO, European Union, I've been part of the internet revolution, I would say, across the whole period of 1996-7 up to, when I transitioned to cloud and AI and data recently. So I started computer science, studying a little bit around the coding, and then moving to networking. I, spend a lot of time around networking security, and moved to United States in 2012. Continued to work with a big vendor in the space of network security, and became entrepreneur in 2016. And since then we started Arcanna in 2020, and now we're one of the SOC AI SOC platforms out there trying to capture the opportunity of transitioning into this interesting world of AI.
Yeah, no, it's all fascinating, and we'll get into that a lot momentarily. But I am curious, you said you sort of started into technology around 96, which I don't know if people who weren't around back then, it's hard to describe how fast things were growing, leading up to the .com bubble where it all kind of looked like it was falling apart for a minute. How was that for you? Like, what was that ride like?
Yeah, is in a summary, I sometimes say that I've been born in a communism, grew up a little bit there, then made a career out of internet, and now I'm entrepreneur in the age of AI. So it's an interesting journey. I think it's now is probably the most interesting thing I'm doing out of my whole career. Mm-hmm. This evolution, looking back, seemed to be very long, but it's not actually, right? So
yeah. Yeah, I think we were talking just before the show, and I was expressing how excited I am to be writing code again, because the technology it's mind-blowing once you start to really see what it's able to do and how you can implement it to solve problems in the real world. And we're just at the beginning of this thing, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, CEOs and co-founders writing code, right? We shouldn't speak too much about it. But yeah. Kind of like, I never planned back then in my business career that I will ever go back to technical stuff and, that within an environment of extremely fast evolution of technology. So interesting time.
So Arcanna's tagline is building human-machine synergy for mission-critical autonomous decision-making. Can you explain what that means in practical terms for SOC teams?
For SOC teams, the SOC people are having what we call judgment and instincts. And for some of that we are paying them to actually make the difference when the attackers come into our environment. And we thought, very early stage of the company, we discovered that, and we thought that multiplying the instinct and judgment of the people would be what the industry doesn't have at the moment. Scaling those good employees, as some Altman are calling them. So we build a platform that abstracts decision-making out of any workflows, irrespective of tools or processes, and provide augmentation and automation of decision-making with full control from the people that are part of those workflows. Now, that was pre-agentic AI. Now with agentic AI, the same kind of platform expand into grounding and building more reliable agents. And that's what we do at the moment.
So the platform's benefit is that it augments human capability and sort of gives you multiples of capability, or multiplies somebody's effectiveness in the organization.
Yes, it is going down toward the path of reducing the response time, because you have your own decisions made in a fraction of a second, and also improving the decisions, because the whole objective of the platform is to build that partnership between the people that make the decisions and the models that are generated out of that for improvement. And that partnership is kind of scaling down the road to what's about to come.
You just mentioned grounding, and I remember reading in some of the documentation I looked like that you emphasize grounding delivers local knowledge at speed and scale. Can you explain what grounding means in the context of AI and why it's critical?
So some customers we work with started to embrace agentic workflows in the mission critical space of the SOC, but others too. They are looking to use our decision models, which are the core capability of the platform that we created, to provide at scale the capability of learning from the people that are involved in agentic workflows. With this capability, there is that path where the agents will be more reliable because they are grounded in the decisions of the people, and we allow that orchestration to happen, as I said, at scale. So that's when we think about grounding, we look to other types of AIs than Gen AI to ground the Gen AI based, agents, and to, provide a new way of automating and transitioning the current workloads to the future workloads.
Yeah, and something else I read, you mentioned that an agents-only architecture isn't the winning bet in the SOC. How is your approach different? You mentioned a couple different AI technologies.
Well, I think there are a lot of approaches out there. We were looking from the beginning to the problem of the complex and mature SOCs, which are already, let's say, advanced in terms of automation, where the human problem still exists. And by working, around that space, we kind of adapted our positioning in the market according to what they are saying. When it comes to agents, our strategy and position is to offer an orchestration layer grounded into machine learning that allow consultants, employees, experts, system integrators to customize agentic workflows, applying whatever framework they have, whatever preference the organization they work for would have, and be a place where the tribal knowledge is responsibly used across agentic workflows. And when it comes to mission critical decisions, Either if it's about triaging, either it's about isolating, either if it's about other use cases where the instinct and judgment of the human are valuable to the enterprise to be included into the orchestration layer for these agents. Without that, we see hard agentic workflows being trusted within large and complex SOCs, which really, face different kind of challenges, I guess, than the ones that are just building right now.
And so like grounding is primarily there to prevent hallucinations from the generative AI, which is a problem that I don't think is solvable in those models themselves. Do you think that with grounding, this issue is fundamentally solvable, or do you think we need to have additional guardrails and human-in-the-loop processes always?
Oh, that's a very good question. So this grounding is actually the orchestration of the human-in-the-loop at scale, integrating into the today's workflows and evolving those human-in-the-loop models that we're producing. And we believe that this is an important component. It is definitely a very difficult problem to solve. I'm not entitled to say if it will be solved or not. I think there are bright minds out there that have opinions about it, and I'm not entitled to have that. But based on what we see so far, based on what our discussions with the most advanced customers we talk with, we see gradually agentic workflows grounded into other AIs, similar to what we do perhaps at the moment, and evolving into the new workflows, where the augmentation happen across the workflow multiple times when the human has to appear into the workflow, and it's important to let the human have the choice.
Right.
Now, learning from that choice is where we play, and we try to ground the agents and allow the customization of the agents to get to more reliable outcomes. Of course, we are not going into selling agents. We are just offering this capability of orchestrating and building and deploying reliable agents using other types of AIs, and that's how we see the market at the moment evolving toward the customer segment that we're working with, which are the large and complex global enterprises, public sector, large MSSPs, which are, as I said, already into SOAR with thousands and thousands of playbooks.
Yeah. You also talk about how your system's able to create institutional knowledge. Is that you're learning from the decisions that the analysts are making, or are you pulling in more data and using that to build out your decision-making process?
Yeah, we look at the workflows data, either those where humans are involved or the other ones, and we consider that part of the tribal knowledge because the decision points utilized along with the humans that make those decisions are the data for our decision models. And that data is curated and pretty much available for, API calls for other kind of applications if that's necessary in the future. But pretty much it is the combination between the judgment and instinct of the people synchronized with some data sets that exist across the organization. And, each and every organization uniqueness come into a specific, outcome.
Even in an MSSP or security service provider, every one of their customers looks different. Everybody finds different ways to do things. So that adaptability in your platform seems like
one of the use cases. Yeah, that's one of the most interesting use cases for the MSSPs, for example, because now with Arcanna, decision models, they could customize SLAs and response, a way of responding to each and every particular customer. And this has a, dramatical impact on the profitability, but in the same time on, the SLAs. You would have one alert responding a certain way for a customer, the other alert responding another way for another customer. And when you take that from 18 to 1 minute, that matters for them. And that's what we, kind of see our models evolving from the current, integration with the source towards integration with agentic, as agentic platforms will be chosen by the customer or built by the customer.
Not particular to Arcanna, but do you believe that LLMs should have direct write access to security controls like blocking IPs or disabling accounts, or should that always be gated by having a human in the loop? Do you think we're going to get to where this stuff happens automatically, or is the outcome risk too high?
Being biased, of course. So the way we see that by adding a decision model from Arcanna, which learns from the people in an environment and control the output of the LLM before making the decision. So that's pretty much the use case for the agentic, extraction of the feature across that, how you do that within a more complex agentic workflows, that this is where the new stuff, is just cooking at the moment across the market. But offering that possibility to granularly, choose which decisions you want it validated by human and learn from the humans, from the way they use their instincts in making different decisions. That's where I think the applicability of the decision models meet the LLMs. That's how right now we even integrate it through the MCP, through APIs. These decision models within the workflows of the customers.
Yeah, so you just mentioned MCPs. I'm seeing them everywhere. I'm using them everywhere in our own work, the stuff we're building. What are the risks of those MCP servers themselves become compromised? I've been reading a lot about different attack vectors that are being developed on these, and I don't think people are fully understanding what they are before rolling them out sometimes.
Okay, so my background is really not around, providing the latest and brightest around the MCP vulnerabilities, and I've seen a lot of that discussed at Black Hat right now. What I hear on the opposite side is customer conditioning MCP functionality before moving in any conversation.
Yeah.
So that's what I can confirm about the risks. Yeah, I think how you deploy, what kind of architecture, where is this data going, what is the LLM? I think the devil is in the detail. Where you put all that workflow happening, how you segment that environment, all these kind of best practices for security, I think are so important. The way we approach this into our product is to provide a curated set of MCPs as part of the instance. We look at deployments even into very highly sensitive, isolated environment. Our product works in those environments, and we rely on the LLM of choice for the customer when it comes to that. But the risks are probably more to come out, as the more we use it, the more it will come out. But there's definitely a lot of good stuff happening.
Sure. Yeah. Do you think all the interconnectivity and in machine identity, MCP APIs, do you think this is the new attack surface that SOCs are going to have to learn how to manage and control?
Yeah, if customers already started to look into it, I guess the right security practice should be applied based on what's the recommendation around that. But first of all, building your own MCPs or validated and tested, use pen testing and red teaming around it. I guess each one of the enterprises are looking around it, or leverage the vendors' instances, of course.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same story we've seen in cybersecurity over and over again, where new technology comes, everybody's in a race for the market, and they roll it out and then realize after the fact that there's some problems. The threat actors start picking up on the problems, and the game continues, right?
Yeah, and we never learn.
Yeah. Do you think SOC AI systems should be subject to the same kind of compliance frameworks we use for critical infrastructure software?
We already, I think, with each and every customer we talk with, we hit into the AI privacy, trustworthy kind of conversations. We designed the platform from the beginning. And yes, I believe, starting to use LLMs, it very much matter on how, who, where, how is this deployed. Everything related to LLM right now leverage private instances of the LLMs.
If an AI system in a SOC makes a bad decision, who's accountable? The vendor, the SOC, or both?
It depends on the AI, right?
Yeah.
So the way, there are multiple decisions out there. We propose that every single decision go through a human in the loop approach. So that is one of the critical elements that we are solving out there, because we train our models exclusively from the people and the environment. We basically ship the platform without any model, and it is that saying that you don't trust what you don't create yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we enable that kind of trust gradually between the models and the human that train them, and the models are just replicating themselves. So when we think about those kind of models, the humans are kind of embedded into those models, and they are accountable for whatever the models are doing. Our problem wasn't to identify better the attacker, but to align better with the humans that make decisions in the SOC. As long as we prove that is, our approach, and that has been pre-programmed to react that way with the right appropriate guardrails, obviously the human, then that's why I think we are in a transition right now. We're choosing the right platform for the right kind of problem, for the right privacy requirements, as well as compliancy. It's very important. Now, some of the most advanced customers were building their own practice and how they would embed AI in decision making and within the existing workflows with the people. So there is this, valid verification or confirmation for the humans in parallel, humans and AI not knowing about each other. There is setups where they are, in complete partnership. So each and every customer, depending on the maturity, how they want to evolve these decision models, it's directly in line with the legal and compliance requirements. I guess the large and complex enterprises have very critical ones. That's what we hear. And we offer that flexibility to orchestrate the decision at where the responsibility goes beyond. But yes, if we are giving to a vendor the power to block something in our environment, and it's part of the contract that the vendor is liable for that, I guess the vendor is liable for that. It depends on who takes...
who signs off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, as provider of technology around that, we try to offer either for MSSPs the right formula, so they are, providing services to their enterprises that are, not combining data from multiple customers for training whatever model that someone is using for other customers, eventually competitors. And so these kind of principles are built into the architecture of the product, helping, solving the problem of human power without cutting from the risk and trust, as well as the privacy of data, PCI DSS, all HIPAA, all these kind of things. It is one of the reasons we've been chosen by some of the critical customers.
Awesome. For organizations evaluating AI SOC solutions, do you have any questions that you think they should be asking the vendors?
We are learning out of this journey, all of us. AI is new for everyone. I would say some of the questions you asked here are very valuable to, to a CISO out there, who's accountable for what in case of, something not behaving the way it has been expected to behave.
Mm-hmm.
We provide from the beginning a trustworthy approach with a transparent ownership full on the models and data. I would advise everyone reminding that the data is the fuel and that's everything, and they are protecting the data and identity of the company. And in the end, I think that's one of the important elements. But also scalability and adaptability to the changes of the landscape in AI, the changes of the LLM's capabilities. We didn't get into the reasoning kind of conversation, but I guess there, when we see customers evaluating AI soft platforms, they look at a complete solution. At least the segment we are talking with, I mentioned earlier, a complete platform that would leverage AI across any interface exists a bit currently between the humans and the current ecosystem of tools. It is very hard to think of a cutover of the existing technology, remove them and put them out there, and then agents is gonna, we're gonna come and solve the problem. I think there will be a transition out there. I guess experimenting with agentic inside the company. We have seen RAG as well happening the same way. Operationalization is an important aspect of the agentic. I think here an important role the system integrators will play because of the way they could apply the best practices in customized environment. Again, I'm just echoing my customers. That's their number one objective around agentic, is to build customizable and adaptable companions for the customers. So I guess security follows the same.
Very cool. So where can our listeners learn more about Arcanna and connect with you if they have questions?
Obviously, there are a lot of videos on YouTube about, of course, how we look at the problems, like you mentioned earlier, as well as, how you build things with Arcanna. Obviously, reaching out to us via LinkedIn or on the website or via my email, which is public out there. So thank you for offering the opportunity to discuss about AI.
Oh, yeah, I have one more question for you, though. I hope it doesn't feel like a gotcha. It's the one that I ask of everybody who comes on the show. It can be as wide or as narrow as you want. Do you have any predictions for the future of cybersecurity?
I think we have reached a plateau in terms of attacks at the moment. That's my perception. And everyone expects that would be like this and build everything based on what we know already. I have a particular opinionated view on what the generative AI is doing in the world of good and bad. I'm looking at this technology as being probably the best technology for the bad that could appear in the world, because they only have to hit once.
Yeah.
While on the defender side, we are still behind and we kind of forgot about some principles and we jumped immediately into this, which it's exactly the opposite of the objective of not missing one.
Yeah.
So I'm, of course, opinionated around it. I'm trying to predict myself how things will evolve. But I think complexity of the attacks, as well as the volume, the diversity, is going to be probably rising up. The need for data, the need for fast response, that would be probably the most advantage, reacting in seconds. Automation will have to be built into the ecosystem,
Yeah. Well, awesome, Peter. Thank you so much for joining us. Really interesting conversation. I love what you guys are doing over at Arcanna, and I look forward to seeing how things evolve. And I really love that you talked about how we're all building this together and all learning because, I've done several projects with AI now, and every time I get about halfway through and realize I could do it a completely different and better way and sort of evolve as I go. So it's really exciting time to be in technology and to be building things with technology.
Yeah. So it is really fascinating. It's really fascinating. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Have a
Take
great
care,
afternoon. Bye-bye. Bye.
And that brings us to the end of another great conversation. You can support our show by sharing your favorite episodes with a friend, subscribe, give us a rating, or leave a comment on whatever platform you're listening from. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can join our community forum at community.limacharlie.io. Thanks for listening in, and we'll see you on the next one. The Cybersecurity Defenders Podcast is hosted and produced by Christopher Luft. The show is co-produced and edited by Sam Blake with graphics by Amr Al-Khatib. Sponsored by LimaCharlie, scalable infrastructure for your security services. Visit limacharlie.io to get started for free.